Wow, my face stopped working. Hello, face. Where are you? Hey, there you are. No memory card. That's all right. We don't need a memory card. Whoa, that was strange. What's going on, Ranger fans? Welcome to this fine Morphinominal Monday as we paint up the red in space Ranger. If you are not familiar with me, I'm Daddy Louie. I am a member of the Circle of Nerds. You can find all of my content over on youtube.com/Circle of Nerds. Please go over there and subscribe. That really helps us out a lot. If you want more from us, we have some exclusive content over on Patreon. Patreon.com/Circle of Nerds. $5 a month. It's cheaper than the Mocha Choca crap that you get at Starbucks. So, and we all know you guys like your Starbucks. So, anyway, thank you as always to Renegade for having me on stream. Before we get started today, I have some news. This will be good news and or bad news, depending on. I got good news and I got bad news, so I guess it's like one of both. So this week we are painting the Red in Space Ranger. Next week we are painting one of the Psycho Rangers. I can't remember which one I said I was gonna do. Blue, maybe? Blue Psycho. I think we were gonna do Blue Psycho next week. And then that's it for the Monday Daddy Louie streams. But not forever. So I am going to go from every Monday to one Monday a month. And that one Monday is probably going to be the last Monday of every month. And this is just because Renegade is trying to get some more interest in their streams, and we don't get huge numbers here on stream, so they're going to try things, some different things, doing some different streams on the other Mondays. That's not my, last Friday of the month. The good news, because that was kind of bad news, for those of you who enjoy watching me every single Monday, and there are a few of you out there, Atomic, Shago, I see you guys in the stream, Alex, Tony, etc. You guys continue to come hang out with me every Monday, and I appreciate that. Not really as a sorry that we're cutting off, a lot of your normal Monday streams, but the content that I'm going to be painting for you is going to be never before seen models. So they are going to start sending me exclusive models. Now, these are models that, like I said, you would have not seen before. So I did get, Psycho early. I got Machine Empire early. But you guys had already seen those models before I got them. These are going to be models that you have never seen before. So they will be resin cast models, prototypes of stuff that will be coming out in the future. So when you tune into the streams, it will be the first time that you will see it. Again, a way for Renegade to try and get more people to the streams. So, like I said, good news and bad news. It sucks that I will not be here on Mondays. I would have liked to have continued that, but I see what Renegade's doing and respect it. So I hope that it works out for them. So, but of course, I'm super excited to be able to bring you guys exclusive models that you've not seen other places. So that will be like Daddy Louie exclusives, which is really, really cool. So I am looking forward to that. I hope that you are too. You still have 2 Mondays with me before this whole thing starts. So I'll see you through to the end of the year, and then we'll start that rolling. If I quickly look at a calendar, I guess the first one of those will be on January 25th. So we'll have a couple of weeks break. I know a few of you have asked if I'm going to be doing any other streaming. Beyond what Renegade does or what I do for Renegade. And I would like to do that. I've got some Marvel miniatures I'd like to paint up. I painted all the rest of my Marvel miniatures, but I have a secret miniature that I've not revealed to anyone yet that I want to paint up on stream. and maybe paint some other things. Paint some Power Rangers. Maybe paint some He-Man. Just some different stuff. So I do plan on doing that. It probably will not be every week, and it will probably not be on Mondays, but more to come. So follow me on social media, Circle of Nerds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Facebook and Instagram, really. Facebook's the biggest one. If you don't have Facebook, you can follow me personally on Instagram, con_daddy_Louie. You can find me on all social media at Circle of Nerds. That's where those things will be posted if you want to see future streams, not on Renegade. Okay, enough chit chat. Let's get into actually painting. And today we're painting red in space. So let me go down to the table here. Here we go. So for reference here, we've got our buddy blue and black Space Rangers here that we painted up on other streams. Still looking quite good. And now we've got red. So red's going to be pretty simple, except for across the chest here, because this drill lance saber sword thing gets pretty close to the chest. So that'll be interesting. I did the best that I could to prime him. We actually had a snowstorm this past week twice. We actually had two. We had one pretty nasty storm, and then so it's been very, very cold here. So I did the best that I could to prime. Wraithbone is what I used. Hopefully paint sticks better than it has in the last couple episodes, but we will see how that goes. And I did not get my new palette yet, still, which is dumb. And I've complained to the company, and so yeah, for people wanting wet palettes, I guess now's not the time to order from overseas. I do need to look up, before we get too deep into it, I need to look up what this lance thing looks like. Let's see, red Space Ranger. Red Space Ranger, there we go. I think it's, there's a good picture of it. It's pretty silver from what I'm looking at. There's a little bit of red in the top, and then the handle itself looks like black. This is a screen capture. But then there's different, Google likes to give us different pictures. I guess I'll just use the toy. I like using the action figures as reference. The lance is called the Spiral Saber. Okay. So the Spiral Saber, different pictures, different colors. It looks like it's mostly silver and black. So that's what we're going to go with there. Oh, there's a cool art picture somebody drew. The Spiral Saber. All right, so for reds, we're going to use Mephiston Red to start. So far on the channel, we've painted two in Space Rangers, and we painted both of them differently. If you remember the Blue Ranger, we painted the blue, and then we did a black wash on the whole model. That's how we were able to get those black recesses. The Black Ranger, we didn't put wash on the model. Maybe we did on the black, but definitely not on the white. It saved us some time, and he looks really, really good. So we're going to try that same technique this time with the Red Space Ranger. Not using any wash, and if we do, hopefully not a lot of wash. So we're going to try and do that without. It just makes things go a lot faster. And time is of the essence because I talked for 20 dang minutes. I hit a pretty big achievement in my painting this past week, in that one of the games that I paint models for, I finished painting all of the models, which was cool. But then there was a couple of days this weekend where normally I would have painted, and I had like nothing to do. Which is not to say I don't have models to paint. Believe me, I have so many games. Just if you take Power Rangers out of it, which I've explained to you guys on stream before, the reason that I don't paint miniatures, Power Ranger miniatures, on my own time is just in case Renegade asks me to paint something. Now with this new system, knowing that I'm going to be getting some rare and exclusive models, I may actually start painting some of my personal collection stuff, because I don't think that I'll be called upon to do much painting of other things. But this weekend, I was just like, man, I don't. All my models are done. I finished painting them. I don't know what to do with myself. So it was kind of a relief, and kind of like I was looking up like when the next releases was. So the next release is like the 8th of January, and there's they're only releasing 3 models, which won't take me but like a week and a half at most, depending on how much I take my time, knowing I don't have a lot left to do and I don't have like a deadline. I'll probably take my time. A couple of the models are really super intricate that are coming out, so they might actually be kind of challenging to paint. And then it'll be like another month before I have anything to do again. So definitely need to be looking at my other games to paint up. So what, we have the holidays coming up. If you are a celebrator of the holidays, anybody have any special plans? Let me know in the chat. Curious to know if anybody will be doing anything special over the next week or two. I guess even if you don't celebrate Christmas or one of those holidays, you'll probably be celebrating New Year's, huh? Because I guess most people probably do celebrate New Year's in some way. We're having a baby. Well, that's kind of a big deal. Congratulations. Would this be your first baby? And when you say we're having a baby, does that mean that, like, that's when your significant other is due? Or do you have, like, a planned due date? Some people are like, if the baby's not born by X day, we're going to induce or whatever. I guess that's one way of celebrating the holidays, huh? Just some gift opening with my family. Should be ending a year-long D&D game tomorrow. We managed to hit level 22, much to our DM's aspirations. I miss gaming so much. Um, I've been trying to get friends of mine that are normally our, uh, DM, GM, depending on what game we play, to host something virtually, and just no one has. There's been talk of it more recently for a D&D campaign, but man, I miss it so much. I've even thought about running something myself, but the I'm not experienced enough in role-playing games to do D&D as a DM. And I just haven't found a game system that I could run. I guess I'm really picky. So that's part of my problem too. No, our second, yeah, so if the baby isn't here by the 31st, then she's having a section. Okay. Well, congratulations. That's really, really great. Hopefully it's not, the baby isn't born on Christmas Day, because I've heard people don't generally like having their birthday be on Christmas. Not that I have any experience with that, but I guess you can't control it, huh? Five E. So 5E is 5E. I do understand it is easy to run. I just don't like when I say I'm not experienced enough. When it comes to D&D specifically, not RPGs, but D&D specifically, I've probably only played maybe 5 times. Um, 5th edition, that is. And then prior to 5th edition, um, I think I maybe have played D&D 2 other times total, with other editions and stuff. So that's how inexperienced I am. So I don't think that I'm. And I need, when I said, also when I said that I was picky, I need a game, if I'm going to run it, I need a game that has storybooks that are already pretty much pre-done, and all as DM I would need to do is just facilitate said story. Original content, not this guy. I'm good with a paintbrush, but when it comes to creating original content, no. I'm like, okay, there was a princess in a tower with a dragon, and you have to slay the dragon and save the princess, and go. Like, I'm just not good at coming up with, my own original content. The new Power Rangers RPG will be based on 5th edition. I believe so. I believe that's what I have heard. Sorry, I'm not talking. There's a lot of white in the upper part of this guy, and I'm just trying to make sure I don't get very much red on it, so I don't have a lot to fix. Some of the modules aren't great, like the DM of the game that should be wrapping up tomorrow started our game with Storm King's Thunder, but because it had a rather crummy ending, he just started making his own content. Circle of Nerds Dungeons and Drunkians. That, we've actually talked about doing D&D sessions. None of us are very well versed in it, but if it, is a little less serious and more, like that, then maybe it's not a bad idea, actually. This part of the model, like I said in the beginning, is tricky because this, I don't know what you called it, the spiral saber, that's what it was called. The spiral saber is really in the way. Like, thanks a lot, Red Ranger, for holding that way. Because you're really making it quite the challenge. Although if I get red on the saber, I'm not too worried about it. I'm just trying to avoid getting red on the white stuff. Like the band of colors on his chest. And of course, right there in the center, where that saber is really tight on the chest, it looks like the primer didn't get in that little crevice. So the paint's just separating away. It's really frustrating. Honestly, of all of the role-playing games that I've ever played, or I shouldn't say played, because actually I haven't played this one that I'm about to mention. Of all the role-playing games that I've ever been interested in, I think the game that interests me the most, that I would love to be a part of a campaign, if not run the campaign, is City of Mist. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but the premise of it is just so super cool. I also played a game of a session of a game called The Strange, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It was kind of like The Matrix, so it was really, really cool. Yeah, it's pretty good red coverage, I think. Just gotta hit that helmet real quick. One cool thing about the upcoming PR RPG is we'll be able to use all the yeah, you're right. Really excited about that. Again, for me, it'll just be a matter of finding someone willing to run it. I don't think I've heard of either one of those. I've mostly stuck to D&D. Played a bit of Pathfinder. So the Strange is, like I said, it's very Matrixy, where your character sheet actually has like these different stat pamphlets that go over top of your character sheet stats when you enter certain realms of the Strange, which is basically, like I said, their version of the Matrix. So you're like a character that you role play when you're in, Earth or, the normal universe. And then when you step foot into the Strange, based on which module of the Strange you go into, you have different stats, different abilities, and things like that. So it's really, really cool. The module that we played was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it was just a one-off, and I haven't played since then. But I really want to. The other one, City of Mist, which I actually haven't played, but I really want to. The premise is basically that you're a regular character, or you're a regular person who inherits the soul of, not really the soul. We'll say the soul just for ease purposes, but of like a legend from the past. So like imagine you're like, you play a female character and you're just a regular, you work at a grocery store, but your spirit inside has been passed down as like Pocahontas. Like Pocahontas passed her spirit onto you. So that's kind of the premise of City of Mist. Paint question. Do you stick with the regular Ranger colors or do you ever change them? I.e. red for Mighty Morphin, red for other series. So you're saying like not painting the Red Ranger as the Blue Ranger, but painting different different reds, different color red. So that depends totally on the Ranger. For example, and mostly because I'm learning as I'm painting. So I'm not, the I'm not like a super old painter where like I've been painting for 10 years and I'm stuck in my ways to where this is the only red color I'll ever use. I'm still learning as I go. So red, for instance, since that's what we're doing today, I only use Mephiston red as my base, and then I go from there. The reason for that is because I've tried a lot of other reds, and Mephiston red is just my favorite red. Green, however, I have painted Tommy, two different versions of Tommy, two different color greens. And that was because, like, the first time I painted him, I only had one color of green that I thought would work. And then, so I painted him that color. Then I saw a bunch of people online painting him a different color that I didn't own. And I was like, man, that looks way better. So I went to the store, bought this new green, and then the next Green Ranger I painted with that version of the green. And it looked way different and better. And I can show you an example of that in a minute. I can get up and get mine. And you'll be able to tell the difference. But like red is always this color of red. And blue, I've done blue a little different. Yellow, I think I've only painted one Yellow Ranger. But if I were to paint another Yellow Ranger, I would do it a different yellow because, again, I'm learning. And recently I've discovered some new and easier ways of painting yellow. So I'll try those. So on the table, I guess if you put them together, like, they might look a little, I don't want to say weird, but they'll definitely look different. It really comes down to personal preference. Pink is a great example because a lot of people want Kimberly or whatever Pink Ranger that they're painting to be like a baby pink, like a real light, almost neonish pink. And me, I don't do that. I do like dark pink. Yeah, yeah. The shades of the color, um, like I said, I do a little differently. It's just different every time. Like, as I'm learning. I'm gonna get up and go get my Green Ranger, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so here was the very first Green Ranger model that I painted. Let me focus that. There we go. So here's the first Green Ranger model that I painted, and I liked the way that it turned out. But it was a little too flat, I guess, based on some of the what other people were doing. So this guy's not done yet, but here's the second version that I did with a different, completely different color, green. Still green, but obviously looks different. I haven't finished the shield and stuff, but. And then Green Psycho, even more different than that. So this green is different than this green, which is different than this green. See? But I stick with green. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. And something that somebody recommended or asked me to do on, I think it was last stream or the stream before that, which really has me interested. When the alternate poses come out for the Mighty Morphin Rangers, I may paint them in a different color. So I may make, the Red Ranger, the Yellow Ranger, and stuff like that. I feel like there was a comic recently where they changed the sex of some of the Mighty Morphin. Oh, thank you. Where they fixed the sex of, or they changed the sex of some of the Rangers. So, like, the Yellow Ranger was a guy, and maybe the Pink Ranger was a guy too. I don't remember. So I'll have to look up what those actually were. Like which ranger became which. And maybe I'll do that for my next color scheme for the Mighty Morphin, just to shake things up. Because I don't need, all these alternate poses being the same colors. So I think it'd be cool to change it up. Red becomes yellow. Yellow becomes red. Pink became blue. Blue became black. And black became pink. Do their weapons stay the same? Or do their weapons change? So, for example, like Trini is red. Does she get the sword? Or does she keep the dagger thingies? So that would require some mods. Because you'd basically have to take the new Yellow Ranger model, cut the size off, or the daggers off, give them a sword, and then paint it as the Red Ranger. Maybe some modding will be in order. It sounds fun, though. Would it even be possible? I'm trying to think of which models. We're getting a new... We're not even getting a new red, are we? We're getting a new black. A new yellow. Oh, you're right. They would. Dang Mighty Morphin for having the freaking different helmets. I'm sitting here painting this guy who has the same helmet as everybody else. So that would be easy. Dang you, Mighty Morphin. Alright, I think that my reds look pretty solid now. I'm not going to lie, it still sounds fun. But I'm trying to remember, somebody help me out. What new models are we getting in that pack? We're getting black. Are we getting black? Everything but blue? Is it black, red, yellow, and pink? Right, so we're not getting a blue. And you said the Pink Ranger becomes blue in the comic, so I wouldn't even be able to get that. I wouldn't even be able to do that. I would need to find it. I would need to get a new Billy model somehow in order to do it. What should we do now? I think we gotta fix the. I think we gotta do the dagger thing next because, because then I need to fix the whites, and then we need to do the yellows. Yeah, let's do the little dagger thing. Let's see, we need this color, this color. I feel like I just got a new lead belcher, and it's like almost gone. Means I use that one too much. Yeah, you can post links. I'm gonna put the... Let's see. Oh, that's a great picture of this sword thing. Oh, it's a silver black. Okay. Yeah, I've seen that cover. Yeah, that looks great. I actually really like that without their helmets on. Oh, now my brain is going crazy about modding the whole thing. Just taking their heads off and then doing no helmets. Ooh. Now you got the brain working. So they keep their weapons with their color. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Brain is twirling. And I bet you I could get another Billy model somewhere. I bet you I could email Renegade and just ask them if I can buy a Billy model. Especially if I tell them that it's for the stream. Because we, of course, would paint it on stream. I just have to find heads that are in scale. If I wanted to do the... if I wanted to do the helmetless. No, I wouldn't keep them headless. I don't know where I would get the heads from. That's what I'm kind of thinking about. I'm thinking out loud while I paint. There might be some 3D printed ones out there that I could have done. I have a friend who really is into mods, so I like miniature modding. So I'm a part of a few communities outside of Power Rangers that I could solicit to see if anybody knows of any good heads that would be in. So the one thing that I would worry about would be scale, because finding heads wouldn't be too difficult. The problem would be, would those heads match the exact same scale? Because the scale of these Power Ranger models is actually pretty rare for a miniatures game. They're usually not that. They're usually not this big. So you'd almost need to find 3D printed ones, and then you would need to experiment. So you'd have to find somebody willing to help you out, you know, send you a couple head options to see which one is the best in scale, and then print from there. Because I'm sure that you could go, okay, take this 32 millimeter head and increase its size by like 12%, and it really needs to be like 15%. But you wouldn't know that unless you actually like print it out and try it. But I really, really like that comic cover, and I think it's worth at least exploring. Alright, so the rest of this handle here is black, and then the tip is silver. And then that middle part right there is... it's red on some pictures and black on other ones. So we're gonna take some liberties here. And I forgot about this dang blaster. It gets me every time. Let's see, how did we paint this guy's blaster? Oh, that's true. I could send a helmet. And I'd be willing to sacrifice one of the models, you know, that I already have so that I could get them, like, ahead of time. Because I'd want to do it pretty quick after it came out. just so that nobody else beats me to the punch. Because if I'm doing something like that, it would definitely draw in. It would definitely draw in viewers. But if it's already been done before, and people have already seen it, then no one's gonna want to watch it. It's one of the problems that I have now. You know, like this model that I'm painting today. Not a lot of people want to watch me paint this model because you just go on the Facebook page and see pictures of, you know, other people that have already painted it. This is weird. This is... Tell me what this is, guys. So if you look at the back here of the Black Ranger, you can see his holster for his blaster, right? If you look at the back of the Red Ranger, there's this weird extra piece of... I don't know if that's a mold error. I just noticed it. Or if it's part of the... See how his holster, he doesn't have that. If you look at their holsters, nothing there. It's an error, huh? I don't know if I should keep it white or if I should paint it red to try and have it blend in. I think I'm going to paint it red and just try and have it blend in with the costume. Kind of like that error that we had on the other model that we painted a week or two ago. Yeah, I'm going to paint mine to blend in. Or try to blend in anyway. It's on the back, so I'm not really too worried about it. Tony said, totally different skill set, but you could try to carve the helmets onto the heads. Yeah. I like the 3D printing. If I'm going to go helmetless, I like the 3D printing. If that doesn't end up working, then I think you could still do it with the helmets. I think if you're going to decapitate the helmets to make room for the heads, then it really doesn't matter. You can just go ahead and swap the helmets out. Yeah, so that must be a molding error. There was that other one too. Do you guys remember what model that was? Had like the... Oh yeah, it's this one right here. The Black Ranger. It has like this... I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me focus. You can see the bump on the back there. Which, had I noticed that before, that's easy to cut off. I could have cut that off. But I didn't notice it. I didn't notice that before. This, even if I'd have noticed it before, which I didn't, but even if I had, I probably would have left it, because that's much more difficult to cut off, I think. This is just easily covered up. We'll just pretend like it's not there. All right, now we're going to switch to German gray. That's, of course, our favorite color. It's my spirit animal. That's my Power Ranger color of choice. And this is for the black bits. So this is going to be for the visor and the top of the helmet here. And then the handle of the lance thingy. I don't know why I can't remember what the heck you called it. Keep forgetting. Okay. German gray, my favorite shade of black. That should be a shirt. I would wear that shirt. German gray, my favorite shade of black. Yeah, I don't know if anybody cares about my opinion. Well, I mean, I'm sure someone in the world cares about my opinion, but if anybody were to ever ask me, Louie, I can only buy one of each color. What colors do you recommend I buy for those colors? I would tell you that if you can only buy one color of black, I would buy German gray. Forget black. German gray is where it's at. Of all, Jay Quellen comes in and just like, what's so German about it? Well, I'll tell you. I think it's called German gray because it very similarly matches the color of old school German uniforms. This particular line of paint that this comes from is part of a series of paints that was originally created specifically for historical games. So games like Bolt Action and stuff like that, where you could play as, German forces, French forces, etc. So they made themselves a German gray, so that you could paint your forces in German gray. And while I have it out, I'm going to go ahead and paint in the first square up here. Yeah. Man, that helmet's looking terrible. I'm going to have to do some serious work to spruce that up. Probably World War I, yeah. Like German officer uniforms. It's a little darker than what you would see, I think, in World War II, like Nazi uniforms. I think they were a little bit lighter of a gray. Let's see. We're going to save the yellow for last. Let's bust out the... Let's see. We need red, pink, and blue. Well, we already got the red. Pink, and do we remember what blue I used? I think we used Cantor blue. No, there's no way. That's too dark. Calidor Sky. Red, pink, and blue. I have a World War I German helmet. Do you? That is a little random, but also kind of cool. You know how you and I are always saying that we're so much alike? I don't also have a World War I German helmet, but I have a Korean War Korean helmet. I actually have a really cool story about the helmet that I have. If you guys care for a story, I'm just gonna start telling it, and if you don't want to hear it, you can just tell me to shut up. So back in 2008, I guess, I was stationed in Korea, and I worked on the military demarcation line. My office was literally 45 meters south of the military demarcation line between South Korea and North Korea. And the place that we worked was called the Joint Security Area, and it has 3 buildings that straddle the military demarcation line. They're bright blue buildings, and these buildings are unlocked all the time, and they're the only buildings in the world, well, in Korea, but I guess in the world, that both North and South Korea troops and stuff are allowed to enter. So anytime that they have meetings between the North and the South Koreans, they utilize these buildings because both sides can enter. Matter of fact, if you guys remember, I guess it was a year or two ago when Trump went to North Korea to speak with Kim Jong-un. They took pictures in between those blue buildings. They stepped over the military demarcation line together, and they stood there and took pictures. That's where I worked, and I worked there for a year. The ROK soldiers, the Republic of Korea, the South Korean soldiers that work on that line and guard those buildings, they have very specific helmets. They're these black, shiny helmets that have JSA written on them and then some Korean words. And those date back all the way uh, to the Korean War. And those soldiers are like the best of the best when it comes to South Korea. So they're really, really good at what they do. Well, anyway, when I was stationed there, I just thought, if you're going to leave with a souvenir, there's really no better souvenir that I could think of than one of those dang helmets. But of course, I'm not a Korean soldier, and they only give them to Korean soldiers that work that. I made really, really good friends with the guy who was in charge of making the schedule for those soldiers. And I told him how much I wanted one of these. And he was like, there's just no way. Like, he would get in so much trouble, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, no, I get it. I think they're really, really cool. And I said I was going to save yellow for last, and look at me, I'm painting yellow because I'm distracting myself. So long story short, I'm in the Air Force, and one unique thing that the Air Force had at the time was green combat boots. So our combat boots at the time were green. They're not anymore, but at the time they were. And this guy just thought these green boots were the coolest thing, and he couldn't get his hands on them. So one time I jokingly told him, I said, if you can get me one of those helmets, you tell me your shoe size, and I will go to, our military store, and I will buy you a pair of those boots. That's how badly I wanted one of these helmets. And he said, okay, deal. And I thought he was joking. 2 days later, he came up with a grocery bag, and he said, you didn't get this from me. And inside that bag was one of those helmets. Now, I'm not going to say I'm the only person, U.S. dude who has one of those helmets, but there can't be many of us. If I'm not the only one, there definitely can't be many of us. And he gave me one of those helmets. And I went and I bought him a pair of those boots. And he just loved them. He thought he just got the greatest kick out of it. So who would have known that I could have bartered a pair of green Air Force combat boots for what I consider to be a pretty unique souvenir from Korea. That's my story time. I'll tell you what, next time, next stream, next Monday, if I can remember, maybe Jake Quellen can remind me. Or Tony, somebody can remind me. I'll wear it when the stream starts. If something were to happen and I had to get rid of all my worldly possessions except for a few, if they were to come in and be like, you have to get rid of all of your stuff except for, you can take 5 things with you, that is definitely one of the 5 things that I would not let go of. Now, if they said you could only have one thing and you could only take one thing with you, it might have to go. So I just painted the blue square on the chest. So while I have the blue out, I'm just painting the blaster since it's blue. Last week we talked about TV shows, binging TV shows. We finished watching the show we were watching. I actually remembered what it was this time. It's called The Reckoning. Um, it was like a limited series. It had one of the dudes from True Blood on it. The acting was really, really good. I didn't like the way that it ended, but if you like murder mysteries, it was like really like it wasn't really a murder mystery because you find out like who the serial killer is like by like the second episode, but you don't really find out his motives. Like you find out a lot of back history and story and stuff throughout the show. So like when it gets to the end, you're almost like sympathizing with him a little bit. Um, so it was good. The acting was good, but not really like I wanted something that at the end I was gonna be like, oh shit, I did not see that coming. Like I love stuff that like when it's all finished, I'm like, wow, like I did not like I want something to blow me away. Like the first time I saw Saw, like if you haven't seen Saw, I won't ruin it for you, but I highly recommend you watch it, even if you're not into. It's not really a horror movie. It's more like just like a psychological thriller. The first one, that is. It's gory, a little gory, but it's like, yeah, like The Mandalorian, exactly. Like the first time, like when it has like all these wow moments. I love shows that have wow moments where you're like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. Anyway, that's not The Reckoning, the show that I just watched. But it was good. So now we started watching Schitt's Creek, which completely different style of movie or show rather. It's comedy. It's actually really funny. No, I have not finished watching Chuck. Chuck's like I have to watch that one on my own, because no one else in the house likes Chuck, just me. Isn't Always Sunny? Isn't that a comedy? Like, I don't really know a lot about it. I just thought it was a comedy, like a sitcom. An anti sitcom? I don't know what that is. I've never heard of an anti sitcom. It's funny, but it's funny in how terrible the main characters are. Like Shameless. If you've never seen Shameless, just stop watching me right now and go watch it. It's just that funny. But it's funny because of how awful the people are. You're like, wow, I can't believe. I guess that's kind of like I guess that's kind of like how Schitt's Creek is. Um, it's like about this rich family and like they lose all of their money, so they've got to go and live like in a motel in a town that they bought. So like they bought this town as a joke for their son, and it's literally the only thing that they have left when they go broke. So they have to go live in it in a motel, but it's quite funny. Eugene Lev something. He's like the main character, and didn't it used to have Courtney Cox in it too, or am I thinking of something else? Eugene Levy, thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of his last name. He's like the executive producer, and he plays the dad on the show. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Okay, so we got all the main colors in there. I think I'm not missing anything. Oh yes, I am. Listen to me. Don't listen to me. I need a little more yellow. I thought there was a show, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I thought Courtney Cox was in that, but she must have been in something else. Maybe it was Cougar Town. All right, this part's gonna be tough, so I got to do the yellow around the collar. So bear with me for a second. That's right. I'm probably thinking of Cougar Town then. I don't know why I thought it was Always Sunny, but Should have done this part first. Hindsight. Before I worried about the red. Because I'm having to, like, be super freaking careful that I don't get any yellow on the red. But if I'd have just done the yellow first, the red would have gone on much easier, I think. But it's alright. I got it on there. It's like one red part I gotta fix, but... It looks like they finally solved the mystery of Wonder Bread He-Man. I don't know what that is. Wonder Bread He-Man. Alright, so all of the base colors are on. Now we need to tidy up the white, which we will do with not white, but all through in gray, because that's what we do here on the on stream. And then we'll do some highlighting on that red. She'll be good to go. Wonder Bread He-Man was a repaint of the original He-Man figure that no one knew the origin of it. It wasn't sold in stores, and it was thought to have been a mail-in figure. So what was the solved mystery? And I bet this is a hard-to-get figure. Speaking of hard-to-get figures, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a collector. So I like to collect things that were very nostalgic for me as a child and as a teenager and as an adult. So when I have like a nostalgic experience, I usually try and find something that I can have in my collection that is reminiscent of that. So I have a lot of one-off things. Like I have a Jessica Rabbit statue off to my right here. Just as a, because I was a big Roger Rabbit fan growing up. So I also have, like I said, one-off stuff. Like I got a statue of Goku and Gohan from when they defeated Cell. I've got the starter Pokemon from Red and Blue off to my left. And then, like, behind me, I've got, like, one-off stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I've got... I have more things for some of the bigger fandoms. Obviously, I have a lot of Star Wars stuff. I have a lot of Power Ranger stuff. I have a lot of He-Man stuff, Ninja Turtle stuff. But then I've got a lot of one-offs, Anyway, long story short, because I'm getting winded about my own story here, I found out just the other day that there is a figure of Turbo Man from Jingle All the Way. And it is actually very, very rare, and it's actually very, very expensive. So I think the one that I saw was like $300 new in package, which is astronomical for something that's... And people are paying that. That's not, just one person has it, and so... And I'm sure it's just like during the holidays, it's probably more valuable. Because people watch the movie and then they go on eBay and they're like, oh, let me see if there's an actual Turbo Man. But I love that movie. It's my favorite holiday movie. Of course, who doesn't like Arnold Schwarzenegger in a Christmas movie? But now I want freaking Turbo Man. But there's only one Turbo Man action figure, and he is pricey. So someone who had worked at Mattel found a letter a mother in the 80s had written complaining about getting Wonder Bread He-Man from a mail-in event instead of a figure that was being sold at that time. Can you do a 50 Shades of Grey stream? I'd love to do that. As a matter of fact, why don't we co-host a 50 Shades of Grey stream? And I'll tell you what. You narrate it by reading the 50 Shades of Grey book while I paint in nothing but gray. I'll paint a model in black and white, aka gray, while you, at the same time that I'm painting, narrate to the entire stream 50 Shades of Grey. Let me know when you're available, and we'll do that. No, I'll paint something in black and white. I'll make it look like it's like the figure is black and white. Since it involves 50 Shades of Grey, it will probably not be on a Renegade stream, but it'll be a Circle of Nerds stream. I can read good. There you go. But you have to do it like it's an audiobook. So you have to come up with voices for each of the characters, as well as the narrator. You got to do the whole shebang. I'm ready when you are. Let's schedule it. I feel like that would be a really popular stream. I'll be playing with little toys, and our audience will. I mean, I'll be painting little toys, and our audience will be playing with little toys. That was horrible. Oh, man. Have you ever heard me read out loud? Done. No, I haven't heard you read out loud. I mean, I've heard you do like I mean, I feel like, some of the things you've recorded have been scripted, which means you're just reading off of a piece of paper, right? Like your Geek of the Week segments. I mean, I don't know if it'll be exactly 50 Shades of Grey, because I don't know if they make 50 Shades of Grey in paint, but I could make 50 different shades of gray using white and black mixed together. We'll figure it out. When I paint these models, the Space Ranger models in particular, doing the helmets is my favorite part because of this part here, where I'm putting the white on to cover up the mistakes, and making these little white lines. It really just makes this model pop. It looks so good. Um, did you take the newest survey? I did. Yep. I did it yesterday, I think, or the day before. It's probably yesterday. Which is a good segue. Everybody watching the stream, if you have not taken the survey yet, go and do that. Yep, put the little gloss on the little, I don't know what they call it, the little monitor thing. I voted for Mystic Force and Dino Thunder. I actually think there was 3. I think you could do 3. So I think I definitely did Mystic Force first. I don't remember what else I put. It was definitely Mystic Force and Dino Thunder. Then it was Dino Charge. I didn't even vote on Foot Soldiers because I don't care. I just skipped over that, didn't put anything. with the accessories vote when it said location boards. Do you guys think that includes foot soldiers or just locations? I don't know. That's a good question. I think I'm going to put a little bit of Nuln Oil on the, even though I said I was going to try and stay away from washes, I'm going to put a little Nuln Oil on the spear thing because it just needs it on the silver part. Usually I don't like doing a whole lot of selective shading, but I just think that silver really needs to be toned down a little bit, and then I think it'll look a little better. It already looks better. Actually, we need some black. Regular good old black. The same full bottle of black that I've had since I started painting, because I use it like hardly ever. Yeah, I'd imagine they'd need to have foot soldiers too, probably. I'm thinking ahead of the game today. You guys are probably like, why is he doing the base already? It's usually because I'm rushing the base at the very, very end. Today I'm going to do the base in advance. That way, I'll just highlight for the remainder of the time, and I don't have to rush. And if I'm not done highlighting, it's okay, because at least you guys get the point. Instead of doing all of the highlighting and then rushing the dang base at the end. Because I have to send, when I'm done painting, I send pictures of the painted model to Renegade because they use the before and after pictures for the YouTube videos. So I like to have at least the base done, that way it doesn't look like super sloppy in the picture. And then I'll highlight the front, and again, if I don't finish the back, you won't be able to tell in the picture. I can come back to it. I have a bunch of models from when I first started streaming for Renegade, including that Green Ranger that I showed you guys. See, like I started painting him on stream, and he's not done. So another thing that I could do over on the Circle of Nerds stream, once I'm only doing this once a month, I could go back and revisit some of those Rangers that I didn't actually finish, which would be good. I think a few sessions are going to have some generic location board. There were a lot of complaints about the Quantrons, so I think that they won't let that happen again. The ones I got weren't that bad, so I didn't ask for new ones or anything, but I know a bunch of people did. And then some people on the Facebook were just horrible to Renegade. They like ripped them apart. Oh, this was like their third Kickstarter. They should know better. I mean, they're still small, like, and the game is still better than, you know, a lot of other games out there. And the models are still better than a lot of other games out there. And they're still learning. Like, yeah, it's their third Kickstarter, but, you know, they're still figuring this stuff out. Just the internet being the internet, I guess. For a comparison, like I backed, same time that I backed Mighty Morphin, or the same time that I backed Renegades, the same time that I backed the original Kickstarter, I backed, what game was that? Ninja Turtles. The City Fall Ninja Turtle Adventures, I think is what it was ultimately called for the whole game. And I got same style plastic. The miniatures are smaller. I paid more for the all-in. Granted, there's a little more content, but I got miniatures without body parts. Like, I would rather take a bent miniature than miniatures that were like missing arms and stuff like that. You know? Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, you could just message Renegade and be like, hey, my Quantrons are bent. Can I get some new ones? And they'd be like, sure, yep, here you go. But instead, people felt the need to like go on the freaking Facebook group and destroy poor Renegade, and it's like that's not necessary. So, not that anybody here did that. I'm just saying. I'm hoping they can solve the problem with the alt Shadow Ranger sculpt. I'm not sure if I got been sat here like a weed creeper in the corner, but I'm gonna have to sign off. Been watching your YouTube channel for painting the Rangers. Great work. Can't wait to get painting mine. Awesome, man. Glad that you appreciate that and that you enjoy that. Hoping that, yeah, what was the problem with the Alt Shadow Ranger? I actually just got the Alt Shadow Ranger with my latest order because I missed out on it the first time. Oh, you didn't get yours. Gotcha. Yeah, I know that they definitely got some fresh ones because, like I said, the last order I got, which was not an order for me, it was for the contest, but I had ordered mine through. I don't even remember what I ordered it from. Was it when they did the pre-orders? It wasn't when they did the pre-orders for the. I don't remember. I really don't remember. But yeah, I finally got mine, so you'll definitely get yours soon. So this is a lighter shade. This is Evil Sun Scarlet. I'm just gonna do some very basic highlighting here, but while we finish up the stream today. I'm really surprised they didn't do a box for that. For what? For the card game? Speaking of the card game, who did anybody here order it? I surely did. Card games are my favorite genre of game. If you call it a genre, it's my favorite type of game. Card games, more so than miniatures. Believe it or not. My problem with card games is they're addictive and I don't get to play them enough. So I end up spending way too much money on card games that I don't even get to play because I don't have the time. Oh yeah, yeah. The Shadow Ranger just came in a plain old white box. Yeah, I don't have anybody to play with either. I'm hoping that there's an online community that will play over Zoom or something. Or it's easy enough to teach my wife, and she'll play a game with me, and I'll beat her, and then she won't play anymore. That's pretty much usually how it works with how we game. We watched Queen's Gambit, which is about chess, and she told me, that she never learned how to play chess, like growing up. She doesn't know how to play. So I was like, oh, well, I'll teach you. And we didn't have a chess set, so of course I had to buy like a super nerdy, expensive chess set. I couldn't just buy like a $10 chess set or a $5 chess set at Walmart. I had to go super all out. And it just came in the mail today, so I'm going to teach her how to play tonight, probably. And she'll lose, and then we'll never play again. That's like story of my life. That's why she loves Catan, because she whoops my ass every time. But she hates playing Monopoly with me now because she can't beat me. Been playing Marvel Champions. So I have Marvel Champions, and somebody actually told me that it's really good solo, and I've never played it solo before. My problem with playing solo is, like, if I'm going to play solo, I'll probably be playing, like, while we watch TV and stuff. And I don't know how easy it is and stuff to set up and how small the footprint is. So basically, if I'm playing a game solo, it needs to have a small footprint and quick setup. Otherwise, it just will never get played. And I haven't found any games like that yet, so it's where I've really struggled. I'm going to do something really quick. Man, it's been so long since I played any games with people in person. You're right. Me too. As the wise droids once said, let the Wookiee win. It can get big depending on if you're playing one character or playing two by yourself. Well, so I guess we don't really have time to get into it, but I'm curious, obviously if I play with just one character, am I not getting the full experience? Is it... This guy turned out really good, by the way. Not that I was expecting him not to, but that's kind of cool. I just want to do one thing real quick before we stop. See how this looks. Yeah, so right now I'm just re-highlighting back up those drill thingies. Yep. Boom. I'm just taking a little liberty here. Trying to make this a little more interesting looking. Cool. He did buy a lot, Louie. I play it solo a lot, and it's great fun. I think they are just shorter games when playing solo, as the HP of the enemies ramp up the more players you have and the threat. Maybe I'll grab it from my shelf and take it upstairs with me when I go. It's been a while since, I mean, I've only played it like maybe 2 or 3 times, and it was right when it came out. I don't even have any of the expansions or any of the other characters. So, but yeah, here's the final product of this guy. Let's bring that. Looks pretty good. We do have to wrap up the stream because of time, unfortunately. I appreciate everybody being here. It's a pleasure and a privilege being here with you guys. I really appreciate all of you, of course, especially those of you who have been following me from the beginning. I really, really appreciate you guys. It means a lot to me. Next week, like I said, we will be painting, pretty sure it's Psycho Blue. I hope that all of you have a wonderful holiday, assuming... so next week I will be here again, Monday, the 28th, and then I won't be streaming again until the last Monday of January, which is the 25th. So we got one more week left in December. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful holiday. If you don't celebrate the holidays, then I will see you next week. Stay safe. Take care of each other. Make sure that you play your game. And I'll see you next week.